Hello, everyone. Welcome to the best and worst of Walt Disney World, brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect Disney vacation. Be sure to visit them on the web at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. I am your host, Ryan O'Clavin, and in this week's episode, I am going to be joined by Denny Sunderly.
Hey there.
I added that little flourish with my hands.
I like
for those
that.
Of you looking. We are going to be doing another one of our attraction makeovers. I feel like we enjoyed the game last time. Did you enjoy it, Denny?
Yeah, absolutely. I loved it.
I can't wait till we get like a more divisive attraction where people are just going to be like, "How dare you even talk about overdoing it?" It's like, here's the thing. For those of you who didn't tune in, the rules of this game are we have been given an unlimited budget. We are in Disney Creative. We're Imagineers now, pretending at least. And we have been told that we have to make changes to the attractions no matter what. And we're going to go through it by story, queue, vehicle, or theater, show elements, the interactivity of how you experience the attraction, and the gift shop. So all of that and maybe more as we think it up on our feet. But the fun thing about this game is we didn't really prepare because it's random. We're just pulling a rabbit out of the hat here. I have the list. Again, I'm going to let Denny pick a number 1 through 4.
And you have reshuffled from last time,
I have
right?
reshuffled, yeah. So
okay.
if you tuned in last time, I have reassigned the numbers of things. So we have removed Finding Nemo, not Finding Nemo, excuse me. We have removed Turtle Talk with Crush from the list because if you remember, that is what we did last time. So we will not be doing it again. It has received its makeover. Whether that was one of the best things you've ever heard or the worst things you've ever heard, that's for you to decide. So we are picking a new one. So 1 through 4, it's going to be random.
I'm going to go with 1.
Okay, that is the Magic Kingdom.
Oh, dear.
So, I should have let you. I shouldn't have told you yet. I should have just made you pick another number. But anyway, I'm going to have you pick a number between 1 through 31.
Oh, goodness. Okay. 17.
17. Denny, you have done it.
Oh, dear.
We're doing Pirates of the Caribbean.
No!
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yep. Here we go.
All right.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
We've gone from Turtle Talk with Crush to Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, nothing like going from 0 to 60, right? So
Exactly.
It's really funny that this is the one that came up because I actually, after we finished the last recording one, I was like, oh, what are we going to do when we get to like Pirates or Haunted Mansion? And
you jinxed it.
Yeah,
it's your fault.
We got lucky. Yeah, so that's all on me. I did this. I brought it into the universe by focusing on it too much.
You did.
So, Pirates of the Caribbean at Walt Disney World, different than its counterparts in different areas of the world, of course. According to Wikipedia, Pirates of the Caribbean tells the story of a band of pirates in the West Indies Islands around the Caribbean Sea in the 17th and 18th centuries with the saga of their voyages, troubles, and exploits. The original version of the ride was opened at the original Disneyland in Anaheim, California in 1967. And it was the last ride whose construction was envisioned and personally overseen by Walt Disney, who died 3 months before it opened. After immense popularity, the ride was replicated 7 years later at the Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World. I am not actually familiar. I have seen like a ride through of the international ones like maybe once years ago. I remember one specific part of it. So I am a blank slate when it comes to that. So if anybody out there or you, Denny, are going to suggest items from that, you'll have to be very specific with me.
Nope.
Okay.
I will not.
Okay, good. Okay, so we are going to go through then in like a blank slate. So if you are wanting to see an entire ride through of this attraction, you can check that out on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/WDWinfo. We have all the ride throughs and things like that on that channel. If you have never done it or you haven't done it recently and you just want to have a little bit of a refresh, there's nothing wrong with that. So, all right, Denny, we are going to dive right in.
Okay, so the first question, if I'm remembering correctly, that we answered last time when we were talking about Turtle Talk with Crush was whether we kept the attraction
yes,
or tossed it, like redid it. So for me, Pirates is a keeper. What about for you?
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Okay.
This is one of those, it only goes away when they demolish this park at some point,
Yes.
2,000 years in the future where we've decided we've got to upgrade into something else. I don't know.
Yeah. If we said we were going to tear it down and redo it, I think there would be a revolt.
Oh, yes, 100%. We would immediately be canceled.
That would be it. I guess let's start with the queue and the show building, because that's the first thing that you really experience as you walk to enjoy the attraction, right? For me, that queue is, I love how unique it is. And it's not overly themed until you get really into the catacombs themselves. But goodness gracious, I love everything about that, how big and expansive the queue is, the first part of the show building, and you can weave around if you need to. I love the smell. You can smell the chlorine water as soon as you step into the building itself. Just where people have, where the Imagineers have placed little things. So in order to plus it up, in order to make it over a little bit, I think I might add a few more little hidden touches here and there, like the skeletons playing chess. How much fun is that to see that? Maybe other little vignettes like that in the queue.
Oh yeah, 100% agree with you on that. And it was the queue was the first thing that I did think of when I said earlier that I kind of started thinking about this beforehand without knowing that we were going to be doing this. But I was like, there is a cool element, like once you get into the queue, when you go through those doors at the very beginning, the like wooden doors, and you're kind of entering this like castle or fort. I think it's supposed to be a fort, right? Is it a castle?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yep. And it's like you said, there is that very distinct smell. I mean, the Magic Candle Company has the scent based off of that. And so I think there's a thing where you're like, okay, we know things that people love. There's that olfactory kind of sense that brings back that immediate, like whenever you smell that, you know where you are. And I was thinking more interactive elements in the queue, like you said. Like the queue right now is a great jumping off point, and during the villains after hours they had actors throughout the queue, and I understand that becomes part of a problem, and how do we maintain that? But our budget's unlimited, so I say we permanently have them. True. But I was thinking, like you said, I specifically thought of like the skeletons playing chess. Like I'd like to see the queue come alive with some movement, and whether it's just maybe adding in some sound effects, some pirates like yelling to each other throughout the queue or something, and something that starts the story, that is the beginning of it. Or in this case, if this attraction is built around Disneyland, because to understand this, Disneyland did come first, and we have a pared down version, and there is a missing element of the story in ours, and that was seen in the Pirates of the Caribbean movie, and that is kind of about the pirates. You're seeing the pirate story, how it ends at the beginning of the attraction, and then moving back in time to see what brought you to these events. At least that's how I take it, right?
No, I hear you.
Okay, because you see the pirate on the gold, and then and then you've got the talking head that kind of sets the scene, and there's that one scene with the split effect where it goes from the skeleton to the guy's face, and this is all at Disneyland, and I'm sorry that I know this is the best and worst of Walt Disney World, but I'd like to see if this is supposed to be that same story, because we have the beach with the skeletons on it and everything. I'd like to see some of the story set up more in the castle. So like I said, I'd like to either see some, if it can't be dialogue, maybe there's more signage that kind of conveys that story. I don't know what they're called. The like parchment paper with maybe like information
a scroll.
On it. Mm-hmm. Yes, a scroll. Yeah. Maybe there's somebody, like maybe there's a storyteller. Maybe there's somebody that's like, oh, you don't know the story of the pirates, something like that. That could be fun.
What if it was done? So the story of the pirates narration, what if it was done in interactive, maybe it looks like an old vintage antique mirror that's on the wall, and there's one here, there's one 6 feet ahead and 6 feet ahead of that, and as you move, it's motion, it's triggered, motion sensor, whatever, and you kind of hear it as you walk down the halls, about, or you hear just chat, little chatters here and there about what the story is. But something that's almost interactive, because we've seen interactive posters before in attraction queues. So, the technology exists.
Well, I was just thinking, you just reminded me of, I don't know if you remember this, in Hollywood Studios, they used to have that Pirates of the Caribbean attraction that was like, it occupied the space that was the Narnia area for a while. And that was where we first saw, like, if you've done Rise of the Resistance and you've seen the Rey part of that, that's where we first got that taste of that movable kind of hologram. Mm-hmm. And I keep thinking that might, so if Jack, I believe the franchise is trying to move away from Jack Sparrow as being the carrier of the franchise. And from what I understand right now, there's, they're talking about having like a female version of Jack Sparrow, like a new type of a pirate whose adventures we follow. And, I don't think that they'll erase what was before or just redo these movies. I don't know. That's not our department. Our department is in the parks.
Right.
So, we are not in the studios. We're in parks and resorts. So, but I was thinking, they kind of already have that footage of Johnny Depp and the hologram. Could they not set that up somewhere in the castle? I mean, I know it would just be interesting if there's something where maybe, because Jack Sparrow obviously survives it all because we see him at the end of the attraction with all the gold. Maybe he's the one telling us the story.
Oh,
and that's how we're going back. And he's, come on in, welcome in, and let me tell you about this time that I almost did something or other, and
exactly.
And then I feel like that kind of ties in, that it makes it a full circle, and that would be cool.
That would be cool. And it would marry what was before, like the original show elements, a little bit more, it would solidify and marry with the new, the new cinematic touches of Jack Sparrow that we've received. So
absolutely. Yeah.
Super cool.
And I think, I mean, our queue, I don't think we have to demolish the queue or anything like that either. I think it's a good queue for now. And, like we said, adding more sound effects in it, pump up that smell in some areas and stuff, I think would be fun. And maybe some like rattling, I don't know, stuff like that. Little touches here and there.
My favorite part of the queue is, so what is normally the fast pass side, but of course it's not right now. So the right hand side, when you're walking down the ramp, if you're really, really quiet and if it's not too nuts in the queue, you can hear, and you see some fire, you see some light over the right hand side, kind of tucked behind you and behind the ramp, and you can hear the pirates back there rustling around trying to get treasure. That is my favorite part, because it's just I just recently noticed it, and I would love more little unexpected moments like that, kind of tucked in around corners throughout. So
we're keeping this attraction. We've done the queue over, and that brings us, I think next we got to talk about that ride vehicle. Would we redo the ride vehicle? Or are we keeping it the same? What are we going to do with it?
It's a great question. I like that you have I like that there's lots of people in that ride vehicle. I think it makes it more of a fun shared experience, as long as those people aren't having their smartphones on or any illuminated light whatsoever on during the attraction. But no, I like it. I'm okay with getting, with the risk of getting splashed on it, because that's, that amps up the fun of it. How splashed am I going to get?
Yeah.
And I enjoy it. I mean, in regular times, in the before times, we had people that we didn't know in the attraction vehicle with us, and that shared experience was fun. These days, you're not going to be with as many people that you don't know, because
it's ours now.
Exactly. But what about you? What do you think?
So I was thinking about this. While you were talking, how are we experiencing the attraction? So what is the role that we, the people in the vehicle, play in the attraction? I guess this kind of goes also along with the interactivity. So I'm thinking, like, if we're people that the story's being told to, does that make us just like residents? Are we just people that are there on vacation, literally like visiting the site of where these pirates pillaged, And if that's the case, that's, I'd say just keep the vehicle exactly the same. Not exactly the same. I'd say spruce it up because I know they were having issues with the dragging and, and that's real world stuff.
True.
But I was thinking, I like that it's like this cute boat. I'd like to see it like pumped up a little bit. Maybe it's a pirate ship. Maybe it's got like, well, I don't know how you do it, but I'm thinking like there's like oars in it because I'm like, is it the tiny boat that we're supposed to be like next to the big pirate, the Black Pearl when we're down there? Is it, what is it? I want it just to get a little bit of a makeover, whether that's just like a paint job or something. Maybe there's like speakers or scents they could add into the boat that spray out through there instead of smelling it in the attraction. I don't know. That could be too gimmicky, but because there's some fun, and we'll get into that when we get into the ride. I feel like there's some areas there, but I was also thinking it depends on what the role is that we would want to play as people experiencing the attractions. If we are supposed to be a part of the story, like in Rise of the Resistance, you are coming from the rebel base. You have the plans, like you have a role in the attraction, and that does affect how you're experiencing it. And I was thinking back to the Great Movie Ride. I was thinking about how you have two options in the Great Movie Ride where you go through. You would either be kind of taken over by the bandit, or you would have the gangster. And what if there was some way to kind of bring that into are we pirates or are we just people? And could, depending on which boat you get, it trigger different sound cues throughout the attraction as you go. So you're seeing it like the pirates are calling out to you like how they are kind of now, or are you like just a bystander and people are like, help, help? I mean, that could turn dark. I don't know. But like...
But no, you're right. The role that the attraction guest has is a very passive one.
Yes.
And yeah, what would happen if that flipped and it became an active role? And what would that active role look like? I mean, even on Star Tours, your mission is to get the rebel spy to where that rebel spy needs to go. So what could our mission be? And are we pirates helping them steal treasure, or are we
people just getting out, escaping?
Exactly. Yeah. Are we fleeing the pillaged town?
And that could be a thing. If we are the escapees, maybe the sounds we're hearing are the pirates being like, well, get them, and stuff. And maybe that's why the ship is shooting at us, when you come down and the Black Pearl, like the air cannons are going off and the water's splashing. I'm not saying I obviously with our unlimited budget, we would keep all sound effects, all voice work and all of that. I'm talking about adding more to it, and somehow and layering it in. I feel like a little smoother than Red was laid in, because Red always sticks out. And it's not because I don't like that they added that or anything. It's just her voice it doesn't sound like the other stuff is the only problem. So it feels like it kind of, but it's weird because the Jack Sparrow stuff fits in well, I feel like, but that could just be because with him, he's not interacting with pre-existing dialogue. They gave new dialogue. So that's what I'm saying. Add some more in there. I don't know. Just a thought.
Yep. No, absolutely.
So yeah, I guess that rolls in a little bit to that interactivity. How do you experience it and things like that? But let's talk about the attraction itself. So, we said the story, and I feel like we kind of enjoy that story, and I think with what we talked about doing with the queue, that would solidify the story that's being told a little bit more. And with the ideas we've given about how you experience it through the ride vehicle, that kind of all... We're basically not touching the story really, right?
Right,
yeah.
Right. And I just had another idea that came to me. Okay, I will tell. That kind of bridges a little bit of the interactivity with the story. What if there was some interactivity that with the show elements themselves that the guests could trigger, similar to Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom?
Ooh.
I mean, what if depending on the card or the coin, maybe it's a pirate gold medallion or a doubloon of some sort, and you have swapped it or found it or earned it by doing something else, or you're just given a little bag of doubloons,
Yeah.
And each doubloon does something different. But when you hold it up, a cannon goes off. I love, like in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, I really enjoy using the data pad interactivity. So if I do this little maze on my Disney experience on the data pad in MDX, I can make steam rise up, or I can shut down one of the moisture evaporators and then power it back up again. Like, it is so much fun to stand there and do all those things.
Yeah.
So what if, so maybe it's not a doubloon, maybe it's through my Disney experience, and it's not, the Star Wars data pad, but it's something else, pirates themed. And you're able to, by completing a little mission, you're able to make the pirates do something, or just something, additional things to occur, and they would happen, and they'd be surprises, and other guests would go, well, how did that happen? And so they'd want to get in on it.
I like what you're saying too, because it could roll into that idea with, depending on which mission you're in, you have abilities to do different stuff with it. And then
Yes.
I think we'd have to back up too, because then people would say, well, if you're in a boat and everybody's flailing their arms about, what's the experience like for people that aren't part of it? So I say make the boats smaller parties right now, because like you said, with the social distancing guidelines that are in place right now, you're basically going through with like maybe one other party. I don't know. So it's not a lot. And why not just cut the size of the boat in half and then just try and launch a little bit quicker? And then that way you can have that sort of a thing. They could be maybe close together and people are doing it differently. But because when you were talking, I can't help but think about the interactivity of like the wands at Diagon Alley and Hogsmeade over in the Wizarding World at Universal Studios. And I was thinking like, okay, the doubloon, like what else? Like, is there something story with a sword? Does it tie into the pirates adventure in the park, I forget what it's called, but the kids do go and do it. Yeah, I love that.
And there's some interactivity with that, and there's a whole, I've not done it yet, but there is absolutely, how could that bleed into what's happening on the attraction? How could it all be one cohesive story being told, and just plussing up the interactivity?
Well, it's cool too, because like, let's say it would be like the coin from the first movie, like the haunted, like that actual, and the curse gold. And if one person in the car has it, it could like affect, certain scenes. Like you said, will do different things. Maybe there's like a chicken that pops out of one of the barrels at one point, that scene with the ladies being chased, or the ladies chasing the guy. And maybe like the pigs kind of squeal or look at you or something like that as you go. And it like adds that little extra, dare I say it, what if you get the pirates out at the end of the attraction somehow? Like, I'm not saying that we could necessarily see it open, but what if, you're the pirate, and in the end, you can hear the gate open, and like maybe the gate swings a little bit, and you'd have to touch that area a little bit, or add maybe another animatronic, so you don't touch the classic 3, or I don't remember how many there are, but whistling at the dog. But you have like maybe another gate that will or won't open based on whether you have the doubloon or not, and that would be interesting. Maybe the Captain Jack at the end, where he's dancing when he's singing in his chair, maybe he says something to you specifically. Maybe it's like E.T. and he says your name.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that would be incredible.
So I feel like there would be some fun, and I feel like these are things where you still preserve the original attraction's integrity without changing it. But remember, you guys, it's up to our audience to tell us whether that sounds horrible, like that's one of the worst decisions you've ever heard, or one of the best decisions. And it sounds fun to us, but along what we've been talking about too. So even if we do interactivity or not interactivity, I'd like to talk about some show elements. I was thinking that for an attraction like Pirates of the Caribbean, and like you come down the slide, that first hill, and you've got the Black Pearl. It is the Black Pearl, right? Is that what it is now? It's supposed to be Balboa up there yelling, so I'm assuming it's Black Pearl, but I keep calling it that.
I think it's Barbossa, and I don't think it's the Black
I don't think it is
Pearl.
either, and I just keep referring it to that. I think it's just a pirate
And
ship.
yeah, it has another name. I can't remember what it is.
So the ship that's shooting at you,
Yes.
like that's fun, and there's a lot of elements to that. Like there's a lot of like the water's blowing up and everything. I honestly feel like the scenes of these attractions could benefit by maybe some projections here and there, and I'm thinking like you know that sword fighting projection where the two shadows are fighting each other. I just thinking like things like that can give more of the scenes a little bit more motion, a little more chaotic chaos to them, because sometimes like when we get to the pirate, like the scene where the pirate has all the hats on and he's trying to lean on the boat and like everything's on fire, it feels more relaxing than it should.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I love it. I love that scene and everything. And I'm not saying like add screaming people screaming for their lives or anything like that. But you know, make it fun. Make maybe they're yelling some funny things or whatever. Or like you burned my bread or something. I don't know. Like something like I feel like there are a couple of moments in here where it could be as much as just adding a few more animatronics that are doing something or moving around or something like that. You know, like I like the scene where Carlos is being drowned in the well. Like I love that scene, and I'm not saying touch any of those animatronics or anything like that. I'm saying get some more going on there. And I always think of that scene in the first Pirate. Is it the first Pirates movie where that scene is reenacted? I think it is, when he's going to get the command.
Yes.
When he goes to get the guy and he throws the water because he's sleeping with the pigs and stuff. And I think those two were like together. I cannot remember that guy's name. It was his like second in command. But what do you think? How do you feel about show elements? What are we doing to this show elements?
Yeah. See, the thing is with this attraction, there are we all have our favorites, right? I have my favorite show elements here. I have my favorite pirates. Like if you touch them, we're going to fight.
Oh yeah.
And you know, please don't touch them. Let them be and let them be happy. And that's the whole thing. You have to thread a needle here with trying to keep it. Yes, the town is burning down, and these are pirates that are pillaging and destroying everything. Okay. But this is also Walt Disney World, and it's Disney, and there's kids. So it can't be like Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah, we don't want
right?
burn victims running out of the buildings and things. Yeah, no.
No, we need to manage that. But yeah, no, I could definitely see. I love your idea of just plussing up like Carlos's scene, or the pirate holding all the hats, with the hats holding all the stuff, trying to step into the boat. He's my second favorite pirate on the attraction. Like I just sit there and delight in looking at him and kind of giggling over what he's doing. But you're right. He has this serenity to him.
Yeah, he's so balanced.
Town is burning down. So maybe there are, a few more elements where people are chasing or animals are scurrying, or I really enjoyed when they added the scent a few years ago, so you can smell the town burning. Maybe there's more of just the fire itself that's added to that scene. And maybe another pirate with another hairy leg, I think we need more hairy legs with little muddy feet.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. Nothing like those creepy limbs. I always enjoy those, but
they're so cute. And I think we do also need to figure out a way to make Red be a little bit more cohesive.
Yeah.
With the attraction. So if we're here and we're talking about plussing things up, I think we pay attention to her audio track and try to, I don't know if it needs, I don't know what processing it needs to go through, but it needs to go through some processing so that it melds with the rest of the track.
Yeah, 100%.
And one other thing, sometimes when I'm on the attraction and you descend the hill and you all of a sudden you're in the middle of this battle that's ensuing around you, sometimes the show elements are amped up. And I don't know why or how. And if someone just comes in and decides we're going to ramp it up today, let's, turn it up to 11. I don't know. But I I love it when it's a bit darker in there, and the smoke, the dry ice is a bit, or the fog is a bit more, and things are a little louder, splashier, because it has the potential to kind of do almost like what you were saying initially with, hey, this needs to look like something, is happening
like
little bit.
Battle. Yeah,
exactly. There are times that I ride that attraction and I get to the bottom of that hill and it is completely disorienting because all of those elements are really turned up. And I kind of think that's what we want, right? Because we've landed in the middle of an ensuing fight, a struggle that's going on. So let's really turn it up to 11.
And I think about it in opposition to the scenes you've just gone through, because the first scene that sets us into there, is the dead men tell, you're going around. It's very calm. It's very like something happened here. And then you get to the pirate steering the boat and the head talks to you. And that's where it needs to be like, snap you out of that passivity, and be like, okay, you're awake now. You're in this battle. Like you didn't realize what was just about to happen, and I feel like we need to make sure, like you said, it's an 11 all the way through. Not just that first part, because you don't want to be like, calm down or anything. We need it all. We need, and, I want it to feel like at the end you've escaped, or or if you're a pirate, you've conquered and you've walked out, so when you come to the end, you're like, I did it, I want that feeling.
Yes. No, I agree completely.
Well, we have one last part to talk about here before we wrap up, and that is the gift shop and merchandise. So, how do you feel about the gift shop the way it is now?
I really like it. You can find literally anything and everything Pirates themed in that gift shop. It is kind of a logjam, and I think we've talked about that before on a show before, where as soon as you come up the ramp and you make that left, everybody kind of wants to stop there in the gift shop. So maybe take out. I would afford a little bit more room, but the architecture of that gift shop, of the building, of the open courtyard and the fountain in the middle is just so unique. It's so well themed. It's beautiful. I would love to play up on that more. I do like that you can find a lot of things in that gift shop that you are not going to find in other merchandise locations on Walt Disney World property. I would really want to plus that up.
Yeah, I was going to say it has a lot of offerings in there, right? It's a lot of different types of things and I was thinking, like, if they could, I feel like even the idea of the fountain and the way it is kind of gets swallowed up a little bit because of the way the merchandise is right now, where that is, that maybe we do that. I was also thinking, I wish there was like an area where it felt like, I guess the gift shop matches the exterior of the entrance is what it is. And that's because I was thinking of it like, okay, well, if you're the pirate and you've gotten out now, I don't know. I was thinking like, I wish there was like a little haunted area. Like there was like cobwebs and maybe it was like, how in Be Our Guest, they have the different sections.
Yes.
And I know a lot of people don't like it's not the West Wing, is it?
West Wing. It is.
Oh, okay. I thought that was just the show. So,
no, different West Wing.
Okay. Yeah. When Allison Janney is over there. No, the West Wing, how that's like darker and it's cool because there's like the lightning and it's moody. I kind of wish there was a little area like that where maybe they sold the cursed merchandise. So it was like, that's where you got the gold. So that's where you could get the doubloon that interacts with the area. So make it like its own little like treasure hunty kind of an area. So, I don't know, just adding a little bit more to it, because you're right. There is some really awesome architecture at work in there that I feel like is drowned out by how the merchandise is displayed. It kind of, it's not complementing each other in the way that, like, when you exit Tower of Terror, I legitimately feel like you've come up to like a bellhop's desk and then you're out. I feel like you're in like the check-in area at a hotel down there. And that's that kind of, it makes me feel like that. I feel like there's a little bit of a disconnect where it is right now in Pirates.
Yeah, I would agree. And you're exactly right. Like the fountain, you can't see it if you look out because you're going to see the tops of all the merchandise shelves. You're not going to be able to see that fountain, and it does really get swallowed up. And unless you wander over there and almost trip over the fountain that's there. It's really nice. I like that. I like your idea about the haunted and area and the little bit spookier. Yeah. I like the West Wing. I can't see my food when I sit in the West Wing.
Can't take a picture of it.
So, no photography is happening at all. And hopefully you're, getting your fork on your food. But it's so well themed. It's so cool. So something like that would be amazing. And that would tie in with kind of the helmsman skeleton that we've got going on right before we go down the hill in the attraction, because that is a very ominous scene. That's my favorite pirate. So my first and my second now, but that kind of that era foreboding would be neat to tie into the gift shop. And I think there's extra space next door now because the Pirates League, I don't think is Pirates League anymore, if I remember correctly. So maybe they have some extra real estate to be able to.
We have unlimited budget. We'll take it over. It's ours now.
That's right. Yeah. It's ours. Sorry about it.
If it's not out, it will be by the time we get there. So
you're gone. Pack your bag.
Hit the bricks. It's done. I think that's a good idea. Maybe the expansion is what it needs, is like a little extra area. I was thinking, it could be like Davy Jones's locker, but I like what you're saying with keeping it with the skeleton pirate. And I love the idea that it could be like, have the winds going, and maybe there's like a little bit of a spray in the air, and so it feels like that wispy, like you're right on the edge of the sea, and storms are coming. I feel like that's how all the stories start. Storms are coming, and I want it to feel like an area where it's the to be continued at the end of the movie, right? Because the idea that we're trying to feed into with our attraction makeover, what seems clear now as we wrap up, is that we want it to be something where there's so much more rewritability within it. Not that you can't rewrite it because you don't love it, but there's so much that you can get from it every time. It can be a different experience so many different times that having that kind of thing to pull, like basically coming out, finding that thing that's then going to pull you right back in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think that was I feel like our plans are good. I want to say these should be approved.
Excellent. I would think so as well.
So that is going to be, let's have the audience let us know, please, in the comments of this video. Let us know if these were some of the best decisions you've heard or some of the worst decisions you've heard. And honestly, I would love to hear what anybody has to say. Also, I meant to say, somebody corrected me online, because the internet will be quick to tell you when you say something incorrectly, which makes it a learning experience. Yep. Blue sky, not blue in the sky. So this is just a blue sky discussion. Yes, I keep calling it blue in the sky, like pie in the sky. I can't.
Pie in the sky.
Is that even an expression? I don't know.
I don't.
I can dream about whatever I want to dream about, and if it's pies in the sky, that's what it's going to be. But
sounds good.
Yeah. So please let us know how you feel about this. And we hope that you enjoyed this. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. Remember, when planning your next Walt Disney World vacation, please consider using the experts over at Dreams Unlimited Travel. When you book with them, it does not cost you anything extra on your vacation, and you help support the day-to-day runnings of the show. So thanks again, Denny, for doing this with me.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody out there, for watching and listening. And we will see you next time with another episode of The Best and Worst of Walt Disney World.